Hello friends, it's Scott from Plot River Keto. If you're new to my channel, welcome. On my channel, you get to come along for the ride on my keto journey. Check in with you once a week to update you on my keto progress and try to check in with you one other time during the week. Usually to share a little something that I've discovered about the keto lifestyle, but occasionally to share something that I've discovered about this little journey that we call life. Now today is Saturday, which means that it's a check-in day. Now I've been traveling all week and I have been in the keto sphere for a little over 3 years. And I know I'm smart enough to know that after traveling on an airplane um, and doing all the things that you do when you travel, you don't want to weigh in the day after you get home. And so normally Saturday is a check-in day for me for my relationship with Earth's gravity. I'm going to go ahead and do that on Monday, just because I know I can even feel it a little bit from being up in the plane that I'm kind of maybe retaining a little bit of water. And so I don't want to have a negative experience with my relationship with Earth's gravity, because I will tell you guys that I know that I've had a really good week. As you guys know, anybody who's been following along, at least I told you last week, but as you should know, I was gone for most of this week. I was on a business trip in Nashville, Tennessee. We went there for a conference. It was really great. Got to experience Nashville. That was really fun. I had never been to Nashville before. And so got to go down on Broadway and experience just the vibe that's there. I don't know how I missed this, guys. Any of you who are from Tennessee, Nashville, or have been there many times, maybe you were aware, but I didn't realize. I mean, they say it's Music City, USA, right? But I had no idea that it was like Las Vegas for music. It was crazy, but it was a lot of fun. I just, I think that I had some semblance that there was a lot of like live music there, but I didn't realize that it was every day. Now I don't know if that's true year round or if it's just during the summer, but we got there on Tuesday night. And it was absolutely crazy on Tuesday night, and we went back on. I went back on Thursday night. There were some of us who stayed out there every night, but I went back on Thursday night and spent the whole evening, and it was just absolutely the same crazy every single night. But a good crazy. I mean, it was fun. Like, it was wall to wall people, honky tonk on every corner, live bands and live music in every single honky tonk that was there. So it was really fun. And I did get to experience that. We went to Blake Shelton's place, Old Red, and spent like 4 hours. We had dinner. Some of the other folks had drinks, and we just sat and watched a couple of live bands. So we had a great time. It was really fun. Learned a lot, energized and excited for some new things at our firm. And yeah, but did really well. Also, I did really well on both my nutrition, which was a little different because I actually ate breakfast, and I don't normally eat breakfast, but I ate breakfast, lunch and dinner. I stuck to my keto. I got my exercise in. Didn't do really any rucking, but I did do walking in Nashville. I actually walked down Broadway a couple of mornings for my exercise. Got my DDPY workouts in, and like I said, stayed keto. So it really went well. I had a good trip. It was a lot of fun. I missed my family. I really wish I could have taken Liz with me. I think I might have mentioned this to you guys, but we celebrated our 21st wedding anniversary on Wednesday when I was in Nashville. So we actually did a little bit of celebrating. Liz and I did today. We went out for a lunch date. Got lunch at a local place here and did a little bit of shopping, and we're going to go out to dinner again on Monday to kind of celebrate. But Liz wasn't able to come with me because she's a high school teacher, and she actually started school. The kids weren't there, but the teachers started school, and they're required to be there for the first couple of days. And so she wasn't able to come. But I would love to take her to Nashville because I think she would absolutely have a blast because she loves country music, and it was just a lot of fun to see everything. So that's kind of what's been going on with me. I guess it's a real quick update on how this week has gone for me as far as my goals and the things that I've been wanting to do. I think I've been really successful with that. Like I said, hopefully I can get a couple days under my belt back home. I feel a little swollen, I guess, like that I'm retaining a little bit of fluid, for lack of a better term, from the air travel. But I had a great week. I didn't do anything off plan, and got in my exercise, which are the things that I was really wanting to do. The other thing, of course, was to be consistent with my sleep. And, I told the guy that I was staying with from our office that he's getting a little bit older. I want to say he's probably, I don't know, about 15 years, not 15, quite 15 years older than me, but a little bit older. So he's getting closer to retirement. So he talks about how in his younger days he would go out and party, but he doesn't do that so much anymore. And I said, I must have been born at 65 years old because I've been boring for my whole life. So even the night that I did go out and enjoy, a good time at the bar at Old Red's there, I still left by 9. I just that's just who I am. So I did get my sleep in. I got up at 6 every day so that I could get my, basically I do an hour-long program. I walk for a half hour and then I do my DDPY workout. But in order to get up at that time, you got to go to bed. And so I did a pretty good job of going to bed a little later than I would have at home, with just kind of winding down from the work day and from a couple of dinners that we had when we were there at the conference. But I got good sleep. And so I'm glad that I did that. I'm glad that I didn't go out with a couple of my coworkers who did stay out quite a bit later, because that would have gotten me out of my routine, which I didn't want to do. But had a great week. Like I said, had a great week from an exercise perspective, from a nutrition perspective. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling energized, and I'm ready to move forward. Now, for the name of today's video, you guys are going to see it, and maybe you'll laugh, and hopefully you'll get the joke. But the name of the video, or the name of the thumbnail for today, is going to be, "Am I really a POS?" Now, you can laugh about that, and I can laugh about it now too. But I had a really interesting, frustrating experience, a little bit frustrating experience, I should say, related to my travel. And POS does not stand for what you might think it stands for. It stands for person of size. And I had an experience with Southwest Airlines that I've never had before. And I've been traveling and flying with Southwest probably for as long as I've been married. That's the airline Liz and I have flown probably more than any other. And as you guys know, I started this journey, a health journey, 3 years ago at 475 pounds, and I've flown on Southwest at that size. Anyway, I used to, at the end of the time that I was working with my dad, where I was flying quite a bit, I was actually a little bit heavier than I am now, and I've never had that experience or that designation, let's put it that way, from Southwest. I don't know if it's a fairly new thing for Southwest, but here's what happened. We got on the plane in Omaha, and it was not a very full flight. I think that the 737-700 from Southwest seats like 143 people, and there were about 100 people on the flight. So, as you might guess, if you've ever flown Southwest, all the middle seats were empty, which is great. And the middle seat was empty in my row. They actually said something, I think, over the intercom on the plane that everybody had gotten on board. So we're getting ready to go, and all of a sudden, the gate agent came up to me, and he said, "Hey, Scott, here's this little card. We just wanted to make sure that you had all the room that you needed, so you just put this in the seat next to you, and yeah, we just wanted to do that for you." And he left, and they closed the door of the plane, and we took off. And I thought it was weird, and I thought it was weird because I already had the extra space. Every person who was going to get on the plane had already gotten on the plane, and there was nobody in the middle seat. There was me, I sat by the window, nobody in the middle seat, and there was somebody in the aisle seat. So I'm like, why are they doing this? And don't get me wrong, I barely fit in the airline seats. I know I told you guys a while back that I was very excited when I no longer needed a seatbelt extender, which I didn't on this trip either. But and I kind of have to cram myself and do one of these things to try to not touch the person next to me, try to be as kind as I can be to the person who's sitting there next to me. But it was so weird and awkward for me, and it really angered me at first. And I don't know if any of you have ever had an experience like that, but I was really put off by it. First of all, because there was absolutely no reason for it, at least not on the front part of my trip, because there was nobody sitting next to me. And it really ticked me off. And I know, after I processed the emotion that was involved in it, I know that that person was probably just trying to be kind and accommodating to me. And guys, the last thing I ever want to do is make somebody else uncomfortable. One of the things that I hated about being the size that I was, and still as big as I am, is I hate encroaching on other people's space. I want everybody to be comfortable. I'm a people pleaser by nature. And so the last thing that I want to do is make somebody else's airplane flight uncomfortable. But I've worked really hard over the last 3 years to not need those kinds of accommodations. And so for that to happen, and especially in the way that it did, was really off-putting and really frustrating to me. Now, I went to check in for my return flight from Nashville back to Omaha, and I couldn't get an e-ticket. It said I had to go talk to somebody at the counter, and it was because I have this designation on my ticket that I now have an extra seat next to me, which it was again, I wasn't made aware of it. Like I said, it was a 2-second conversation between me and the gate agent as the plane is taking off, and he tells me to put the card thing in the seat next to me, which is already empty and going to remain empty. So it was really weird. I didn't know what was going on. And so I Googled it, and come to find out, there are a lot of people who try to get this designation, even when they may not qualify for it, so to speak, so that they don't have to have somebody sitting by them. And I was like, well, that's interesting. So I had a little bit of trepidation, a little bit of anxiety, because I really didn't know what was going on. I went and talked to the person at the counter in Nashville, and she was very kind and very nice, and explained what the situation was. And the funniest thing is that when I went to talk to her, but I'm like, I don't know how this designation happened. They just took a look at me and said, oh, hey, he doesn't seem to, maybe he's going to be tight in that seat or whatever. I think that she got the wrong impression, because she thought I was wanting to make sure that I had this thing, and I didn't want it. And because I've worked hard to not need that sort of thing. And so she just explained to me what it was. And I said, like, is this going to be like, in my file or something? And she said, no, it's something you can request, of course, at any time if you want to, that sort of thing. Because I'm going to be flying with my wife next year. And she's like, if you're flying with a relative or something, and, obviously the two of you are going to sit together, so there's no reason that you necessarily would need to have that. But she was very nice and very accommodating. And I did say something to her, and she actually, I thought maybe she would get offended as it came out of my mouth, but she was really sweet. I said, you know what? I am not going to have somebody at Southwest Airlines determine my self-worth. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. We didn't mean for it to be that way. I said, I know. And that's really a me thing. But I mean that. I am not going to have somebody at Southwest Airlines determine my self-worth. And I've worked too hard over the last 3 years at improving my health to let something like that derail me. And I will tell you guys that there is a time during this health journey that would have been even a bigger deal than it was. And it was probably a bigger deal to me than it would have been to a lot of you. But it was a big deal to me. And I really had to process that and take a step back and go, it does not change the amount of progress that I've made. It does not change how I feel about myself, the goals that I have for myself between now and the end of the year. And even though it's something that I've worked really hard to get out of, I'm not going to take it personally. And so I didn't. Now, I will tell you another fun little story that had to do with that. So, get on the plane in Nashville. It is a mostly full flight. I think they said it was 90% full. So there would have been a few empty middle seats, but more than likely, the plane is mostly full. So I get on and I'm like, heck, if they gave me this thing, I might as well take advantage of it. So I get on, sit down, put the little card in the seat next to me. About 5 minutes later, a woman gets on the plane. And she gets on, she has a baby strapped to her front, and she has a little carrier, and apparently she has a dog in that carrier. And she sits in the row in front of me. And the flight attendant comes up to her and basically said, hey, can I help you with any of your bags? I see that, she had a diaper bag basically for her baby, and the dog's in a carrier, so it's going to go into the seat. Well, as well, and the flight attendant's kind of saying, like, we can put that up, and then the woman is saying, I'm going to kind of need that, and the dog obviously can't go in the above in the upper part, and so she kind of doesn't know what to do. She's like, well, maybe nobody's going to sit by you. And I finally, I piped up and I said, hey, ma'am, I have this thing right here, which means that nobody is going to sit by me. So if she wants to take the aisle seat next to me here in my window seat, she'll be a lot more comfortable. She'll be able to have her diaper bag down under the middle seat where nobody is sitting. So I was able to use the thing that really frustrated the heck out of me to help somebody out. And the lady had a really cute baby. It was a lot of fun. I helped her out a couple times on the flight. But, I share that not to say, oh, breaks arm patting stuff on back, what a good job I did. But I took something that was a very frustrating experience to me, and I tried to make somebody else's day a little better out of that. So, yeah, that's the thing I wanted to share with you this week. And like I said, it was difficult for me. And there is a time on this health journey of mine that probably would have been something that would have really set me off and maybe gotten me off my plan for a few weeks. But I'm thankful that I've been able to process some things and that it didn't do that for me. And then I'm going to continue moving forward. Hopefully, like I said, I can get rid of a little bit of the inflammation that I've had from traveling here. The relationship with Earth's gravity will be where I want it to be. I definitely had the kind of week that I wanted to have, did the things that I wanted to do. So hopefully the relationship with Earth's gravity will be in line with that I'll be headed in the right direction. But I know that I'm doing the things that I want to be doing, and that I will be making the progress that I want to be making. One last thing that I want to say, I know I wasn't going to shout this out every single time, but I have this cool shirt on today. And I got another compliment on it today at the store when Liz and I were shopping. So it's a very popular shirt. So you need to go out and get you one. But my wife and I have recently started up a t-shirt business. And if you're interested in this shirt or any of the other designs that we have, you can find us at Husker Ping on Facebook. And if you're interested in placing an order, you can send an email to huskerping@gmail.com. I'll include that in the description of this video. It was actually really funny. I will say one more thing about the shirts. I had another shirt on. We have a shirt that says "Choose Joy Today." And on the back of the shirt, it's a quote from Teddy Roosevelt that says, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And I think that's really true, by the way. And I think that works well for a person's health journey or for a lot of other things and other ways in which we compare ourselves to others. But I had a lady at the TSA, as I was going through security, just tell me how much she loved that quote on the back of my shirt. And I wish I had a business card to give her so that she could order one of my shirts. But you, watching this video, could order one of those shirts if you wanted to. So anyway, there's my shout out on that. But yeah, I hope that this story that I shared with you was helpful to you in some way. Like I said, it was a very emotional experience for me. It was frustrating at first, but as I took a step back, I realized that at the end of the day, people are sometimes going to make judgments about you, and people don't know where you're at and what you've done. And that was another one of the things that I had thought about is, you guys have seen what I look like. I've shared pictures with you and all that kind of thing, and I just stood up for you. And nobody's going to look at me and go, well, there's a really good in-shape guy. People don't know my story. People don't know that I've lost 145 pounds. And so people just don't know your story. And a lot of times how people react and what people do has a lot more to do with them than it does to you. So just keep that in mind as you go through your journey, because we're all going to come across those situations and things, and it would be very easy to let something like that get you down or get me down, as it really could have this week, and I'm so glad that it didn't. But thank you all for being a part of my journey. Thanks for sticking it out on a little bit longer update video today. I wanted to share that experience with you. Day by day, keep calling keto on, my friends. We'll check in with you again soon.